On the back of the disappointing employment report, we saw the dollar fall against the yen and the euro. I have Brenda Kelly from IG Markets in London on the line. So Brenda, investors are now uncertain about the expected September tapering. Can you walk us through the trading patterns that we are seeing today with the dollar? And do you think we will see tapering, but maybe to a smaller extent than what was originally anticipated?
I think what has to be clear is that the tapering effect was never very clear as to how much it was going to be. Would it be 5 billion less than the 85 billion which we're currently seeing per month, or a great deal more than that? I think in some respects the non-farm payrolls at last week were disappointing, but I'm not expecting to see any real change. I think the markets are expecting, and we're probably pricing in a small quantitative easing reduction at this next Fed meeting, and I would expect in some respects for it to maybe be 75 billion per month, as a result of which, though, we have seen Japan as being net buyers of the US dollar, and I think to a greater degree that is probably to some risk off that we're seeing in the markets at the moment as well. So I do feel that there is strength left in the dollar, and I think against some of the high beta currencies we could see it weaken, but I would expect to see it maybe retrace some of its losses, say, against the Japanese yen.
Investors will be closely watching San Francisco Fed President John Williams' speech today, as it is likely to provide the last piece of data before next week's monetary policy announcement. So do you think we will see a change in the performance of the dollar after the speech? And do you think the speech will calm uncertainty?
Well, in answer to the second question, I don't think the speech will calm uncertainty, certainly not. I think that we've got a very meagre calendar today, so the markets may put a little bit too much emphasis on the speech from John Williams, particularly given the fact that he's a non-voting member of the Federal Reserve Bank. What he spoke about last time, very recently in Portland, Oregon, is that he does view Bernanke's timetable to still be the best course forward. Of course, in light of the new non-farm payroll details last Friday, he may change his tune, but I do feel that he's probably saying to wait and see, that he's going to go into it with an open mind and look at all the pros and cons, but I certainly don't think we're going to be any the wiser as a result of the speech later on this afternoon.
And Brenda, will there be any specific data or events that you will be watching this week that will have an impact on the US dollar?
I think the two things to watch this week for the US dollar, the most important things will be the US retail sales on Friday and the PPI number also due on Friday. So we saw flat producer prices in July after a 0.8% rise in the previous month, and that has added to concerns that inflation is running slightly too low. Now we're expecting to see an advance of 0.4% at this particular juncture. So this could impact whether or not, or to what extent, we see a tapering of the asset purchases from the Fed. And then with regards to the retail sales, we saw them increase by quite a small amount of 0.2% in July, following the 0.6% advance the previous month. So we are possibly seeing a pickup in consumer spending, but certainly if we get a poor number here, it could impact a lot more, I think, than the non-farm payrolls data in terms of the uncertainty it could drive in the market overall.
Thank you very much, Brenda, for that. Well, viewers, do stay tuned, and tomorrow I'll be looking at the Scandis, but for now, have a great day.